In this video, we're going to be looking at punch in inside the AudLit app. Right now, I'm looking at the review page, and the author has given me some corrections to review. So let's go ahead and jump to this chapter. And for here, there are a couple of words I need to correct. One is this one over here. Okay, so I can see that highlighted, and I'm going to need to re-record this. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and click on the cleaned take, all right, and go back to this one. All right. Now, right now it's analyzing that take for me. And you want to wait for this analysis to finish so it will recognize where these words are exactly so that we can punch in accurately. Now, the punch in tool has two options. Either you can reread the whole paragraph, but as you can see, this is a very long paragraph. I'd rather not do that. Or you can punch in just a sentence at a time. Right now, it's defaulting to the whole paragraph. I'm going to X this out, okay? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit punch and record, okay, and select sentence level. Let's click the paragraph here. And now here, we want to find this sentence, one cannot have, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. This is the sentence I want to select. So I'm just going to record just this sentence, okay? Now it gives you an option for leading in. Either you can lead in with a sentence or a paragraph or a custom. I personally like to do custom 5 seconds. I don't want to listen to too much, but if you prefer a longer lead in, you can do that as well. So we're going to hear a little bit of 5 seconds of the text prior to this sentence, and then I get to record it. So let's give it a try. Reinterpreted to fit astronomy, it no longer matches the narrative. One cannot have both a literal historical account and a metaphorical reinterpretation at the same time without undermining the text's integrity. It no longer matches the narrative. Okay, great. Hit pause there. Now, I want to preview this, okay, and what I can do, here's a really cool tool here. I'm going to test to see how well it fits, because I did have a little bit of a breath from the end of the previous sentence into the beginning of the next one. AudLit will try to mitigate that, but we want to just double check to make sure that the entrance and the exit of that sentence work well timing-wise. So here, I'm going to click on Open Visual Editor. And here, take a look. You can see the sentence words on top. So if you don't know how to read a WAV file too well, you can get a good alignment in terms of when these words are happening, okay? Or at least a close approximation. So I'm going to start a little bit before. This is the previous sentence here in blue. Let's listen to how it connects. Astronomy, it no longer matches the narrative. One cannot have both a literal historical account and a metaphorical reinterpretation at the same time without undermining the text's integrity. The gift. So I think this section works really, really well. If I needed to adjust the entrance and exits, I can actually click on these little bars up on top. I can do the green one over here. I can scroll in a little bit more. I can pinch in to scroll, and I can adjust the length here accordingly. But I liked what the narrative. One cannot. I kind of like that, so I'm going to actually move this just a little bit because I heard a tiny click. Let's see. The narrative. One cannot. I think that's fine. Okay. Now, let's clean up. This is way too long at the end here, okay? So let's do this. Let's grab this little handle here, and let's bring that timing a little bit closer like that. And let's see how that sounds. I'm going to click over here. The text's integrity. The gifts. That's pretty good, but I'm hearing a bit of a breath right before I start here. So I'm going to see if I can get rid of that breath and maybe compensate. Let's try that. And give me a little more time to make up for that breath. Undermining the text's integrity. The gifts, gold. Well, you know what? I think now I think I want the breath. So you can see how you can play around with the timing, entering and exiting those punch-in points. The text's integrity. The gifts, gold, frank. Let's see if we can give a little bit more breath. Let's see what that sounds like. There you go. And maybe work on that timing. Without undermining the text's integrity. The gifts. That sounds very natural. I like that. Let's do it one more time. Without undermining the text's integrity.
The gifts, gold, frankincense.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. So I'm going to click on accept, accept over here, and we're going to save this edited file. Okay. And that's a quick look at the punch-in. Now I've got this saved. When I scroll down, I can see over here, you always see your newest takes up on top. So this is going to be the one that I want to master. Okay, so I'm actually going to get rid of this old mastered one because that had the problems. I'm also going to go back here in my review point. Oh, I corrected this one. Now I need to correct the next one. Let's go ahead and actually I'm going to load this up over here. I think I should be able to do this. Let's go to the framework and let's correct this one as well. Okay, and let's scroll back up, get to the punch-in tool. Again, I don't want to record the whole paragraph, so I'm going to just record a punch-in, record here, punch the paragraph. Let's find the sentence with a sentence in this case. Okay, so let's find in this case. There we go. That's the sentence. And again, 5 seconds custom lead-in.
Is and how it can be distinguished from the literary framework.
In this case, the framework is so dominant, so pervasive, that it leaves no clear residue of independent tradition.
Literary framework.
Pause,
In this case,
and again, let's go open the visual editor just to test and see how it sounds.
literary framework. In this case,
okay, you can see that it grabbed
framework.
the end of that previous
In this
sentence.
case,
So I want to get rid of this one. So let's go ahead and move. Let's going to scroll in a little bit to make it easier to see those handles. I'm going to scroll this way to move the handle that way. Now let's see how this sounds.
from the literary framework.
Well, I've got this breath, so I want to get rid of the breath. So let's go and move this around until that.
Distinguished from the literary framework. In this case,
There we go. I like that. Okay, now you can see there's also a long tail here. So let's see if we can clean this up as well.
of independent tradition.
Yeah, that's kind of long.
Sir,
All right, so let's get rid of this. And it sounds like we've got a little bit of a cut in here too. Here we go.
of independent tradition. Everything in the narrative serves a
Okay. Here we go. So here's the next sentence. I can actually scroll down here if you're looking for the context to make sure you have the correct words. Independent tradition.
of independent tradition.
Okay, so I want to get the breath, the natural breath in there too. So let's go ahead and scroll in a bit and clean that up in here and grab more of the breath. That's the previous word there.
Of independent tradition. Everything
That sounds good. Let's accept that. Okay, we're going to save the edited WAV file. Okay, so both of those are correct. I'm going to double check this later, but that's a quick look at the punch-in tool. And that latest one over here should contain all of the 2 takes that I just cleaned up. And I'm going to clean up this file over here later on and master it. Okay, so that's a quick look at cleanups, punch-in and punch-out. It's super easy, and the visual editor tool makes it's just a great way to really fine-tune the entrances and exits. And with the words that you see on top, it's easy to see where you are, even if you've never worked with a raw WAV file that way. All right, good luck. Have fun.